Good evening, everyone, or good morning. Hello, wherever you are, and welcome back to the Zen and Zazen class. Last time I was talking about some quotes by Sawaki Roshi. Today I want to talk about a Zen phrase, but before that, as always, let's sit for half an hour. In the beginning, you might want to swing your upper body left and right, which will help you or help your body to find its center. And while your movements get smaller, you might relax your shoulders and lower the center. Often during the day we live in our heads, but when you do these movements in the beginning, you might lower your center, might feel like a boat that's floating on the ocean. And when you do these movements, it's like you let the anchor down from the boat until the anchor hits the bottom of the ocean.
我们今天还是前面做30分钟，然后后面做分享会，内容我发到咱们群里面了哈。然后今天分享那本书是老师写的，我们今天分享他那本书。然后老师刚才大概其意思就是说让大家放松自己的头脑，因为我们今天一天可能都活在你的思绪当中、头脑当中啊。晚上坐禅的时候呢，尽量放松，可以坐禅之前先晃晃，找找身体重心。然后把你的体重放下来，把身体的重量放下来，就像沉在海底一样。
Relax the shoulders, allow your spine to stretch itself, lower the eyes a little bit, and then deep breathing from the abdomen. When you inhale, your belly will move out. When you exhale, it will move in again. And during Zazen, all kinds of thoughts or emotions might come up. Don't try to suppress these thoughts or emotions, but also don't allow yourself to be, how do you say, swept away by them, but rather try to sit like a rock in a river. You don't try to stop the water from flowing, but also the rock doesn't flow with the water. You're like a rock inside the flowing water when you do Zazen.
我们在练体式的时候呢，是要收腹，盆底肌上提；但是做禅的时候要放松。吸气的时候肚子放松，鼓起来，就是腹式呼吸；吐气的时候小腹自然收缩，就好像我们是在大海里面的石头一样，让海浪、让水从身边流过，但是你没有跟着水一起走。当你的思绪起来的时候呢，不要和你的思绪一起走。就像海里的石头一样，要稳定。随着它走，也不要想办法去阻拦和停止它啊。
Okay, let's start to sit. Thank you, everybody. Today I want to talk about one chapter from this book, or the Taiwanese version is this. It's chapter 25. And the phrase that I want to talk about, in Japanese you would read it z未得度先度他. This character appears twice. Do means to bring someone, or to go from this shore to the other shore. It means to go over to the other shore. And this phrase means while you haven't crossed the river by yourself, first you help others to the other shore. So it basically means to save others before you are saved yourself. To help others to get liberated from suffering and attain enlightenment before you are liberated from suffering and before you attain enlightenment.
我们今天分享的是那个幕后老师他这本书里面写的，咱们应该中国人汉字会读哈，大家应该都是什么意思？自未得度先度他，这是日语的写法，中文是不是先度他人？好像有这句话，有个人字在后面哈。然后意思就是说，在自己得道之前，在自己到达萨玛迪之前，先帮助别人，先帮助别人到达萨玛迪，也就是换句话说，你还没有到达萨玛迪，其实也是因为你没有帮助别人，也有这一层含义。今天我们说这一句。Actually, in Chinese, we have a person like 先do other people. We have the same sentence in Chinese.
Oh, good.
Yeah, but slightly different.
And Dogen uses this phrase to explain what body-mind means. Body-mind in Sanskrit is called bodhicitta, and it was translated into Chinese in two different ways. One of them is Bodai Shin, where Bodai is basically body, and they chose in China two different characters which sound similar to Bodhi. In Japanese you read it Bodai, and Shin is the mind. And the other translation in Japanese would read Do-shin, where Do is the character for way, or the Chinese Tao. So the Chinese have this very old word Tao, which means universal truth. And Bodhi also means to awaken to this universal truth. So there's these two words, Bodaishin or Doshin, which basically mean the same. Body mind, the mind of awakening.
就是其实老师他这句话呢，说的是 body 嘛，就是佛心，它翻译成梵语是 bodhicitta，然后翻译成中文和日语的时候呢，有两个翻译，一个是舶来心。然后还有一个是道心，就是他把中国那个道字也这样读。其实他的意思就是让大家看到宇宙的，就是全世界的真理，让大家感受到真我和自我。主要是这个意思。
Now the question is, what does body-mind actually mean? There's two different English translations or explanations. One means way-seeking mind. So it's our aspiration for the Buddha way, the mind that is seeking for truth. And the other explanation is that Bodhi-mind means enlightened mind, awakened mind. And of course, both explanations are true, but they contradict each other, Because if your mind is already enlightened, there is no need to seek for the way. While if you're still seeking for the way, you're still separated from enlightenment. But body-mind has these two aspects. It's a mind that has the aspiration for the way, but at the same time, it's mind that is already enlightened.
这个有点不好翻译啊。A little difficult. 就是佛心，它老实说，其实就是在大家在理解的时候，有两个含义，一个就是禅定的心，就是你已经到达萨玛迪，然后你在禅定里面的这个心，还有一个是就是你把自己沉浸在这个心里面。所以就是我们说这个就是舶来心，或者是说道心、佛心哈，这个就是说有两个，一个是你已经在禅定，还有是你希望到达禅定，就是它是有两个含义。
And Dogen also, when he talks about body-mind, in his writings, he uses different explanations. When he was younger, he said body-mind means to understand impermanence. It means to understand that everything in the world is impermanent, and not only everything around you, but you are impermanent. You're dying every day. You could be dead tomorrow, and actually right now in this instant, you're already dying. And once you really understand that, you have no other choice than to aspire for the way, because normally you're attached to your ego, but you are only attached to your ego because you don't understand that your ego is impermanent. If you really understand that your ego is impermanent, there's nothing to be attached to. And if you let go of your ego, that is body-mind.
然后有一种说法，就我们今天讲的是这个佛心哈 body mind。有一种说法是在道元禅师年轻的时候，他的解释是，他认为这个佛心或者我们说道心，它是暂时的。然后其实我们本身也是暂时的，每一天都在死亡，你过的每一天其实都在死亡。明天有可能你的身体也不在了，明天也有可能你就是和这个世界，就是我们俗称的死亡哈。我们是没有选择的。虽然每个人都对自己、对自我没办法割舍，很难放下自我，但是如果你能明白，其实这个自我也是暂时的，应该从就是自我，还有这些我们现在不能够放下这些东西当中超脱出来，看到所有事物都是暂时的。这个是道元禅师年轻的时候的一个解释。
And in a different work called Tenzo Kyokun, which means instructions for the cook, Dogen explains body-mind with three different expressions, three minds, which are first Kishin, which is a mind of joy, then Loshin, which means the old mind, and third Daishin, big mind. Kishin means the mind that is happy to be born into the world and happy to be this person. Normally, we're not so happy about the lives that we have. We compare our lives to that of the others, and there's always something to complain about. There's always some people who have it better than us, and we envy them. We wish we would be like them, but we cannot be like them. And Dogen says you should be happy to be the person that you are. You should be happy that you were not born in heaven, because if you were born in heaven, there would be no suffering, and if there would be no suffering, you would have never aspired for the way. It's because you live this life of yours and you have a certain amount of suffering. That's why you aspired for the way and you had the fortune to find the way. So you should be happy even about the suffering that you experienced. Then the second mind, old mind, is the mind of a parent. So when the cook doesn't have the mind for a parent, he will ask himself, well, why do I have to stand in the kitchen while the other people enjoy themselves outside? When you cook in the monastery, people eat silently. So nobody says, oh, thank you, this is really delicious. But if you have the mind for a parent and you give food to your baby, you don't expect the baby to say thank you. Even if the baby just drinks all the milk and then sleeps. As a parent, you are happy. So if you're cooking, you should have the mind of a parent. And third, big mind means a mind that is high as a mountain and also wide as the ocean. And if you have that mind, you can accept all things. You can accept all the rivers that come flowing into you. And you say, welcome, please. I can take all of you.
気心の感じは、どんな感じですか？気心の感じは、
気心 Yorokobu. Let's give me Yorokobu.
わかりました。
わかった。
然后那个老师说，还有另外一种解释，就是在日本，我不知道中国的庙里面做饭的人，那个可能有特殊的称呼哈，我不知道咱们中国怎么称呼的，在日本叫天走，就是专门为大家服务做饭的这些和尚。这些和尚呢，就是说这些人，有3个心，第一个是喜心，就是中文里面那个喜，高兴的意思，喜心。你应该为你自己而感到你应该为自己而感到高兴。然后我们现在的人很难做到高兴，因为我们总是跟别人进行比较，总是和别人就是为什么别人有这个东西我没有，或者说为什么我没有别人做得好，我们总是有一种比较的心，所以很难做到高兴。然后这个禅师就说，其实你应该高兴你现在是谁，你应该高兴你是谁，你应该高兴你有机会来经历这些苦难，这样你才能有机会找到真正的道。如果你生在天堂，你没有机会，你已经超脱了生死哈，生在天堂，你可能没有苦难，你超越，我们就说什么3界哈，如果你已经超越了这些，那可能你就没有机会找到自己这个道，你就体会不到。所以我们应该为我们生而为人，应该能为我们成为现在这个自己而感到高兴，应该有一个喜心。第二个是老心，这个老怎么解释呢？就是我们应该有父母心。你看这些在寺庙里面为大家服务做饭的人，我们在寺庙吃饭的时候呢，没有人说话，在吃饭的时候特别安静，所以你的这些辛苦的工作呢，其实你也听不到别人的赞美，听不到别人的赞许，那为什么你还要做这件事情呢？就是应该有一个父母的心。当我们做父母的时候，你给你的孩子做饭的时候，你看到你的孩子在吃饭的时候，你不会觉得辛苦，他在吃的时候你就已经很高兴了。我们应该有这种心，就是父母心。然后第3个是大心，老师打在我们那个聊天的那个 chat 里面哈。然后这个大心是什么意思？就是说我们的心应该像山一样高，像海一样深，应该有一个宽大的心。就是这3个心。
And then at the end of his life, Dogen Zenji is using this expression, body minds means this wish, z未得度先度他, to help others before you help yourself. You don't even know what is enlightenment by yourself, and still you try to help others to attain enlightenment before you. And in a way, you could say that's impossible, because naturally we think of ourselves first, and also how are we supposed to help others if we don't know what is enlightenment? First we have to cross the river before we can help others to cross the river. How are we supposed to make other people cross the river if we haven't crossed it?
然后道元禅师说，就是这个佛心或者我们说道心，其实就是这个意思，就是我们今天那个主题，自为得度先度他。 然后当然现在也有一种理解，就是大家可能会有疑问，这是不可能做到，怎么会做到？就是怎么你才能做到？如果我不知道，就是在我自己还不知道的情况下，在我还没有得到的情况下，在我还没有达到肯定的情况下，怎么来帮助别人呢？如何帮助别人？可能大家会有这种疑问，那为什么还要这样做？怎么才能做到这个呢？刚才老师说的。
So logically, it's impossible to help others if you haven't already reached the other shore. But the difficulty is, as long as we think first I have to solve my own problem and later I can help the others, as long as we think in that way, we will never really be able to solve our problems. We will never be free from our own suffering. And in that moment where we sincerely wish, may I help others, even if my problem isn't solved yet, I hope that I can do something for the others. In that moment, we might realize, oh, I already have found the answer. The moment we forget about ourselves, we realize, oh, this is actually the answer. That is Bodhi mind. And I think that's the point that Dogen Zenji wants to make when at the end of his life he says, forget about yourself. First, you should have the wish to help others.
这段还有点感人啊，就是老师说，其实理论上来讲，这是不可能的。你想你自己都没有理解，怎么能帮助别人呢？但是道元禅师说，如果你真的是这样想的话，我自己都不明白，我还没有得到，我是不可能帮助别人的话，你是永远不会找到自由的，永远不会解决你自身的问题的。当你有一个愿望可以帮助别人的时候，你希望可以帮助别人，解决问题的时候，在那个时刻，其实你就已经找到答案了。在那个时刻，你就找到了你应该怎样得到的这个答案了。老师就说，所以当你有这个希望、有这个期许的时候，其实这就是你的答案。
Okay, so much from my side for today. Do you have any question? Anything that you would like to share? If yes, please feel welcome. You can either ask directly by unmuting yourself, or if you prefer, you can also write in the chat function.
大家可以提问啊，可以直接开麦或者是打字儿都行。
Any questions? Chiaki-san looks very tired today. You look very tired.
I'm tired.
Playing too much soccer or what?
No. The weather changes so much. It was cold and now it's very warm. It changed in a short time, quickly, and it's tiring for me.
I see.
You talk to me, so I ask you a question.
Yes, please.
Big mind is very, very difficult for me. Of course, I wish to have big mind like ocean and a big sky. But every liver comes into me and then don't say no. It's very difficult. I just notice, oh, no. I can't. In that moment, what should I do? I just noticed that, and now I can't do that. And then my big mind is completely closed, and I don't want to refuse that. And I think there's a moment or the situation I have to refuse. And then I have to judge, should I refuse or accept it? But I know some situation that's really sickening. It's not good for me. I cannot be a big ocean. What
Yeah.
should I do?
Yeah, it's a koan. Of course, these three minds, like a joyful mind, old mind, and big mind, they're all the same mind. It's all one mind. And the thing is, for example, to have big mind means to also have the mind of a parent. So you want to treat all living beings as if they were your babies, as if they were your kids. The problem is you are also a kid. So it's not that you abandon yourself in favor of the others, but sometimes big mind or parental mind means also to take care of yourself. And if you need shelter, you need time for yourself. At the end of the day, you say, okay, that's enough. Enough for today. I think that's also okay. To have big mind or have to parental mind means to also have patience for yourself. You have to take care of this person also, because if you don't take care of this person, who's gonna take care of that person, this person? Of course, you shouldn't use that as an excuse and only take care of yourself and forget about the others. But I think at the end of the day, you also have to take care of this person. You don't want to deny this person. And where to draw the line, it's difficult. I ask myself, whenever I have a fight with my wife, for example, I ask myself, okay, how much do I give to my wife, but when do I draw the line and say, hey? And it's, in all situations in life, it's always like this. At one point you have to draw a line and say, yeah, but now I also have to take care of myself, and I need time for myself. I need space for myself.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Become motion to myself. And
exactly.
Explain. Yeah, thank you.
那个老师，我想问一个问题啊，这个你刚才发的那个喜心、大心、老心用 mind， 但在我们理解里面，这个 mind 是思想的意思，然后如果是心的话，应该是在我们看来是用 heart。那这个心和 mind or heart 对我们来说它是两种情感。好像 mind 的话就比较理性一点，从 heart 出发的话就比较感性一点。我不知道老师你们是怎么来看待这个心和就是为什么把这个心翻译成 mind， 我就是不太理解。
Well, I think that's a good question. She asked in Chinese or in Japanese, the heart, and 心 and your omoi, we translate different kanji. Your mind and your heart are different, but I think Dogen Zen translate the three mind is use the kanji xin. Why use the kanji xin? Because when you say mind, when you say heart, more emotion, you're thinking more. But mind a little different. So she asked why change the three mind to the word heart in Japanese and Chinese.
I mean, when you translate this character Shin into English or German, you have this. The question is, do I use the translation mind or do I use the translation heart? And I think what Dogen means is somewhere in between, or it encompasses both. When you say mind, it sounds like it's the thinking mind, and that's not the case. But if you say heart, it sounds like, well, the emotions, and it's also beyond the emotions. And sometimes when I translate into German, for example, when I talk about the three minds of the cook, for me it feels in that case more natural to say the heart. So the heart of a parent, a big heart, the joyful heart. But in other cases, for example, the mind that understands impermanence, for me, mind sounds more natural than the heart. But I think in reality, it goes beyond both of them. So it's not only heart, but it's also not mind. It's not the intellect, but it's also not the emotions, I think.
你听懂了吗，刘姐啊？老师就是说，其实是看你想采用哪个翻译，就是这两个词，它就是我觉得可能是看情况，然后也看本人你想要采取哪种翻译。像老师可能他把这个三个心就是 three mind， 当他翻译成德语的时候，老师翻译那个道元禅师的书翻译成德语的时候，他是德语里面他也是用的中文里面那个心，就是那个翻译成都偏向于那个字儿，就是感性，都偏向于情感那方面，但是好像又不是很感性，又超越情感。他好像如果你说完全是情感，好像也不是，他有用超越情感的就是超越情感的解释，所以，老师说，他应该是超越这两种，既不是理性的，也不是感性的，老师是这么说的。
对，我觉得那个我们在所说的这个心啊，就是比如佛教里面的心也好，禅宗里面的这个心也好，它不是。它应该就是超越理性和感性的，就是更接近于灵的那方面。所以我觉得用 mind 或者用 heart 都不太合适。就是它是老师说的这个是对的，是超越这个我们日常所说的 thinking 啊或者 emotion 都超越了的，不是那两个。但是我觉得还是我们中文里面的心，就当我去思考一些问题的时候，我是用 mind。当我用一些情绪的时候，我是用我的 heart。但是当我去思索这些终极问题的时候，我既不是用 mind， 也不是用 heart。
对，
但是我就不知道用哪个词。
哪个？She said it's beyond both. In Chinese, I think heart, when you use heart, you have more emotion. But when you say mind, you're thinking more. But sometimes when you make a decision, it's not from your heart or from your mind. It's from some other place. It's hard to say.
Yes, I agree. Andrea, you have been raising your hand. Did you have a question?
Yes, I was thinking over the last part of your talk. You said, as long as you think I have to look after my own enlightenment first before I can go and help the other people, there's something missing. There's no enlightenment at all.
Yes.
And I thought that there's this story about Dogen and his teacher who was thinking about, is it possible for me to go to China, or do I have to stay to look after my teacher? And Dogen says, well, as long as you think there's something missing at on your enlightenment, you might better go off to China and let somebody else look after your teacher. And I had the idea there's a little contradiction there. So there might be a time where you have to look after the others first, and there seems to be a time where it is important to look after your own enlightenment first. Or there might not even be a difference in those two ways to look at the things. So that was something I was just moving in my mind.
I think what you say is not wrong, but also what Dogen said at the time, that was before he went to China, when he was still thinking enlightenment is something that is not here in this moment, but I have to cross the ocean and find it on the other side. So I think that's also part of why he says, well, if you haven't found enlightenment, then you should postpone looking after your teacher and first find enlightenment for yourself, because he had the idea that he needed to find it for himself first. And only later did he realize that it's about letting go of that. And when he came back to Japan, he said, I have come back empty-handed. The only thing that I understood is that my eyes are horizontal and my nose is vertical. Are there any other questions? It's already past 9 o'clock here in Japan, so if you have no other questions, I would say let's finish for today. Next week, Xuan will teach Pranayama, and then in 2 weeks, I will be back with quotes from Sawaki Roshi. So thank you all for joining. Thank you to Xuan for hosting us, and have a good week. See you again.
Thank you.